tinfoil hat.
Oh, what the f*** are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Revolution will be podcasted.
All right, guys, welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We are live from the Wise Wolf Gold and Silver Studios. Go to samtripoli.gold. Use the promo code TINFOIL, and you too can get in on the precious metals game for as little as $50 a month. And I'm telling you, the money is getting weird. The best place to put your money is in the precious metals because it only goes up. Very excited to have this next guest on. We chatted up at Bohemian Grove. He's been on before, and we're very excited to have him back. He's an author. He's a podcaster. Please welcome Justin Brown back to Tinfoil Hat. How are you, brother?
Hey, I'm doing good, Sam. Thank you for having me back, man. I've been looking forward to this.
Well, I love your style. I love everything about you. I'm glad we're here. I love your setup behind you. It's great, man. You're doing it, dude. You're doing it. So, Justin, for those who may not remember you or don't remember your last appearance, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and where our listeners can find you?
Yeah, man. My name's Justin Brown. I kind of got the nickname Doc Brown. My show is the Prometheus Lens podcast. Anywhere you can consume content, you can find me at Apple, Spotify, YouTube, all those fine establishments. Same thing with the social medias. If you just search Prometheus Lens podcast, you'll be able to find me. Got a brand new website, PrometheusLensPodcast.com, and my first book, hopefully the first of many, have come out this year. It's the Epic of Esau, the Birthright and Seed War. We talked about it last time we were on, but it wasn't out yet, so it's out now. So you guys can find that on Amazon. I think it's $10 for the digital or $20 for the hard copy.
Well, congrats on your book. That's amazing. Very excited to talk to you. The seed wars are very important because I believe that it is being played out right now in real time, and we can get into that. So I had a show the other day, and we'll get into seed wars for sure. I have a show called Doom Scrolling. We were watching it, and this guy was talking about the similarities between the story of Jesus and the story of Prometheus' son, and about there's almost this, it's parallel. And what I'm trying to do, I'm a Christian, Christ is my Lord. I am trying to take all of it and make it all fit into one story. And some people might find this as blasphemy. I don't believe it is at all. But, you know, when you had, what's his face? Bill Maher put out his movie. We've talked about this before, where he says the story of Jesus has been told many times in other religions over time. And he takes it as a sign of, like, it's not authentic. Whereas I don't believe that at all. I think they're all telling the same story. It's just different. The names are different because they're different cultures and languages. And it is of my belief that our timeline is a lot longer than people believe. And that these things happened, they just might have happened way longer ago than some people want to believe. And understand. And it's, again, Jesus is my savior. So I just, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, honestly, I was sitting there nodding away the whole time you were talking because, I mean, that's exactly how I see it. I'm not your stereotypical Christian. I venture outside the pasture, and I love history. I love comparative mythology, and I like looking at these things and seeing what rhymes, what stacks up. You know, I'm this type of person. If I have the same story over and over again throughout every culture, you know, every timeline and continent, that there has to be something to that. And I love that. I love gathering those puzzle pieces and seeing what sticks because it reaffirms my faith. It solidifies my faith. And I think the story of Christ is one of those. Joseph Campbell, he was not a Christian, but he wrote a book, Hero of a Thousand Faces. and he talked just about the very same thing that you're talking about, Sam. He took all of the mythology throughout history and gathered them all together and kind of shown how they were so similar, telling the same story. And I just take the position that God, the creator of the universe, the creator of us all, didn't just remain silent and speak to a select handful in the Levant. That I think he gave hints of himself throughout the world. And that way, when the Messiah came, everyone would be more prone to accept it because it was a familiar story. So I think he did. He left breadcrumb trails throughout the memory and myths and legends of man. That way he could be recognized when he came.
Johnny, any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, that, like you said, that used to, especially as a young man, in my teens, and early 20s, that used to really bug me. It used to cause, I mean, I don't know how you felt, but it used to really bug me that, especially, I mean, I remember taking Intro to the New Testament in college, and my professor was Bart Ehrman, who anybody who is kind of delved into New Testament scholarship knows the guy. And he used to be an evangelical Christian and then became an agnostic because of his research and, as you said, comparative theology. And then at the time, he kind of enjoyed, it seemed like, popping the bubbles, of undergrads. But it took me, a year or two, and I realized I eventually got to the point after that where you are, where I was like, wait, what these things that are being pointed out as weaknesses and flaws in Christianity are actually strengths. And I totally agree. Yeah, that's where I am now. I think this is it's more evidence than anything.
Yeah, I mean, like
I even take the same one with the Mesopotamian myths, because a lot of atheists want to point to the Mesopotamian myths, and they say, oh, it predates the Bible, so it shows you that the Bible is a copy and a fluke. And I'm like, no, man, if you're a Christian, your Bible tells you that Genesis 6, right? The fallen angels came down, bred with the daughters of men, and they were exiled. They were kicked out, and the book of Jude says that they traded their first estate. So, yeah, of course you're going to get their distorted story first because they were here first, according to our own timeline and texts.
Yeah, and to get to think it's to mock it because it's the same story and not go, maybe it is the same story that is just being told in different words and names and cultures, but they're all talking about the same story.
I feel strongly about that specifically with the creation myth. Like, absolutely, I feel that way about creation. Now, the Jesus story, you'll often find when you dig a bit, and Wes Huff has done great scholarship on this, that there aren't as many similarities as they suggest, like there are important distinctions. Like it turns out the guy was actually a fish. He wasn't even a human, you know what I mean? Things like that. So I would suggest caution too, before you say like, oh, it's all, Jesus is also appearing in these other places, that many, if you dig down in many of those myths that they, like in religious, especially presented as, somehow tantamount to the Christ story, they're very important and central to the theme of the story differences in many of those. And go check out Wes Huff if he talks about it a lot.
No, I get that. I'm also fine with that. I mean, it's like it's almost like, how can we present to the people that we're trying to teach it to, and what are they going to accept? What are they not going to accept? Totally. But I think at its bare bones, it's a similar story. Maybe that's just my opinion, and it actually strengthens what I believe instead of like dismisses it. Justin, what do you want to get? How do you want to start?
Well, I figured that, like last time we talked, I talked about how the ancient writers believed that, Esau was of the serpent seed, and we kind of dived into that just a little bit. And I know me and Johnny was talking back and forth about this seed war and kind of how it started and progressed, and we kind of just ran out of time on that one. So I was going to see maybe for today we could just take a deeper dive into this seed war and this serpent seed theory, and kind of just go to the beginning, go to Genesis and break it down and show you what I believe to be an allegorical story of where this seed war all took place.
All right, I'm down. Where do you want to start?
Okay, well, I guess first, just to lay some groundwork for people, because when I tell this, I'm suggesting that Satan, the Hasatan, is represented allegorically as a tree. And a lot of people want to say, no, that can't be right. That doesn't make sense. And we don't see that anywhere in the Bible. So I wanted to get that down and show you first. If you go to Isaiah. Are you going to share
on your screen? Do you see set up to share on his screen? Okay, cool.
Okay, let's see. How do I share? I was just going to read.
Yeah, I mean, no need.
If you can read it if you want, but you can share it if you want.
You have that option if you wish to share the screen.
Okay. But it's yes, Isaiah chapter 14, verse 7, and it goes through 21. And so this is a tree allegory, and this is that famous passage where a lot of people talk about, how thou have fallen, O Lucifer, son of the morning. So we know this is about Satan. So if we go there, starting in 7, it says, the whole earth is at rest and quiet. They break forth into singing. The cypresses rejoice at you. The cedars of Lebanon, saying, since you were laid low, no woodcutter comes up against us. Sheol beneath is stirred up to meet you when you come. It rouses the shades, and that's Rephaim in the original languages, to greet you. All who were leaders of the earth, it raises from their thrones. All who were kings of the nations, all of them will answer and say to you, you too have become as weak as we. You have become like us. Your pomp is brought down to Sheol. The sound of your harps, maggots are laid as a bed beneath you, and the worms are your covers. How you are fallen from heaven, O day star, son of the dawn. How you are cut down to the ground, you who laid the nations low. You said in your heart, I will ascend to heaven above the stars of God. I will set my throne on high. I will sit on the mount of assembly in the far reaches of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, and I will make myself like the Most High. But you are brought down to Sheol, to the far reaches of the pit. Those who see you will stare at you and ponder over you. Is this the man who made the earth tremble, who shook kingdoms, who made the world like a desert and overthrew its cities, who did not let his prisoners go home? All the kings of the nations lie in glory, each in his own tomb, but you are cast out, away from your grave, like a loathed branch, clothed with the slain, those pierced by the sword, who go down to the stones of the pit, like a dead body trampled underfoot. So there you have the condemnation of Satan. It describes his fall, and you have all this tree symbology. It talks about, he's this tree, and he's going to be cut down, and it even calls him the abominable branch. So there we clearly see lots of allusions to the serpent, the Nakash, being compared to allegorically as a tree. So again, we'll see this on the same side, talking about offspring, the branch, the family tree, the fruit of your, loom. And we see the same thing on the opposite side, even on the good side. So I'm kind of showing you the seed war from both sides, and both use this same terminology. If you go to Isaiah chapter 4, verse 2.
Let me ask something real quick. Is there a specific tree it becomes? Is this the tree in the Garden of Eden, do you think, is where the serpent comes from? You're saying it's the tree that bear fruit that God tells you, do not eat the fruit from this tree, or paraphrasing that. Mm-hmm. You're saying it's that particular tree is Lucifer.
Yes, allegorically, because I'm trying to show you, because that's what I come out and usually say, but a lot of people want to try to argue with me and say that, Scripture doesn't do that. Satan's not described as a tree, but, I'm showing you plenty of verses here to kind of allude to that and show that this was allegoric language that the ancient writers used to not only talk about Satan, but to talk about bloodlines and lineages.
So interesting, dude. It's so deep, right? It's so deep.
Yeah, it is. You got to get into the weeds, man. But Isaiah chapter 4, verse 2, it says, In that day the branch of the Lord shall be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the land shall be the pride and honor of the survivors of Israel. So here again, we have allegorical language for a branch, and that it'll be beautiful and glorious, and that the fruit of the land shall be the pride and honor of Israel. So he's talking about the lineage of Abraham, the chosen seed there in the same allegorical language. And you have it again with the lineage of the Messiah through David, King David, because in Isaiah chapter 11, verse 1 says, there shall come forth a shoot from the stump of Jesse, and a branch from his roots shall bear fruit. So once again, you have this same terminology in allegorical language talking about the chosen line and the coming Messiah. And last time I was on with you guys, we talked about Ezekiel 28 and how that was the condemnation of the king of Tyre. Yes. And then how the language, and how that language changes. It starts off talking to a king, but then the language changes, and it shows you clearly that they're no longer talking to a man. They're talking to the entity behind the man pulling the strings, which is the serpent, the Satan.
Bro, that is so crazy. That's so crazy, because that goes back to White Lotus of Light when he came on and he was talking about this really big moment in humanity where basically Alexander, or one of the Russian czars, attacked the city of Tyre. And that kind of was the fort or the epicenter of this dark occult. And everyone believed that it was impossible to invade, and he did it. He went in there and he destroyed them. And to me, that's where a big part of the war between the globalists and the Russians come from. Am I off on that in any way? Does that sound like it makes sense?
No, I hear what you're saying. I'm one of these type guys. I'm not really involved like in the politics and all that kind of stuff, but I do think that we do see all this, this seed war still playing out today, and the bloodlines and lineages, fighting for control and for power.
So interesting. Okay.
But that last time we had talked, I'd mentioned that Ezekiel 28, and I focused on the coverings, because the language changes, and it says, you were in the Garden of Eden, perfect in all your ways. Every precious stone was your covering, and it lists all these stones, and it's a carbon copy of the priestly ephod that the priests wore in the tabernacle. And it talks about his beauty and splendor. So that goes to show you this is another way allegorically that prophets, when they would call out kings, they would talk about the entity, the Hasatan, behind that ruler. And we see this again in Ezekiel. And once again, this is another condemnation to the Pharaoh of Egypt. But just like in Ezekiel 28, the language changes, and it's no longer talking about a man. It's talking about a being that was on God's holy mountain in Eden. And once again, we have all of this tree language and comparisons. So if you remember the beauty described in Ezekiel 28, it talked about how beautiful he was. He was perfect in all his ways, and he was so glorious. And then earlier when I read Isaiah 14, how he would set his throne on high, but he was cast down. As I read these next few verses, I just wanted to remind you of that. That way you have that in the back of your mind. But that's Ezekiel 31:1. Okay, so it's 1 through 11. So it says, in the 11th year, in the 3rd month, on the 1st day of the month, the word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, say to the Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and to his multitude, whom are you like in your greatness? Behold, Assyria was a cedar in Lebanon, with beautiful branches and forest shade, and of towering height, its top among the clouds. The waters nourished it, the deep made it grow tall, making its rivers flow around the place of its planting, sending forth its streams to all the trees of the field. It towered high above all the trees of the field. Its burrows grew large, and its branches long. From abundant water in its shoots. All the birds of heaven made their nests in the burrows. Under its branches, all the beasts of the field gave birth to their young, and under its shadow lived all great nations. It was beautiful in its greatness, in the length of its branches, for its roots went down to abundant waters. The cedars in the garden of God could not rival it. For the fir trees equal its burrows, neither were the plane trees like its branches. No tree in the garden of God was equal in its beauty. I made it beautiful in the mass of its branches, and all the trees of Eden envied it that were in the garden of God.
Whoa.
So this mirrors and sounds just like those other verses I mentioned, that, you know, he was beautiful, perfect in his ways. He set his heights among the stars, but he was brought down and cast out. So I just wanted to bring those up a little bit just before I kind of got into the meat, because I wanted to show the people that when I try to talk about this, they're like, that's crazy. You're just making stuff up. Satan is not a tree. That's stupid. Well, I mean, I'm showing you here, it's allegorically true throughout the Bible.
So what does that mean to you?
I just think, like, allegories, they use poetic language to explain things. And also these prophets and prophecy is kind of esoteric. Even Jesus taught in parables.
Yeah, there's
and
so
like
much.
when you go to,
There's so much of it, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
something we kind of take for granted now when reading the Bible. But if you're not prepared to read it in that abstract way, you're gonna miss. It's so much because it's so little of it is literal. It's so much of it's written in kind of coded language.
It's so
and
deep,
Jesus
right?
even, or Psalms, it says, it is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but it is the glory of kings to search things out. They're not going to spell it out for you. You gotta dig.
Do you think back then it was easier to code it out?
I think so, because it was more familiar writing styles, and
It was the writing of the time.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah, there are paintings and stuff now.
Now it would just be emojis.
You see, like, painting. I remember when we took that art gallery. I think it was a Louvre we were in, and they were all the paintings. Especially the religious paintings. You just see them and like, oh, that's okay. It's a painting of two women, and then somebody who knows what the talking about, like, shows you that it's all this coded language that people of the time would have known that you're just completely missing. Like there's a tale in paintings, and it's got to be the same way with scripture also.
Would you say it would be the same thing as in, like, we saw memes now? If someone saw one of our memes in the future, be like, what the is this? And we know everything behind it, be like, oh, this is why. Oh, okay, that's crazy. Yeah, because no one would understand a meme.
So
100%.
There's a famous video, and I forget exactly how it goes, but it's a video of like an overweight pastor. He's kind of chunky, but he's talking about a painting of like man versus the devil. Have you seen this video?
Checkmate.
Yeah, dude.
The painting in the Louvre. Yeah.
And like how everyone perceived it forever one way, and then a chess master came and looked at it, and he looked at the board, and it's a totally different painting than what everybody up until that moment believed. That it was just a completely. Can you look this up? What's it called? The video, the painting.
The painting is called Checkmate, because what it is, it shows two men playing chess, and it shows like this dark evil entity like behind him in the columns, like that's the spirit behind this guy, and then the other guy, he's got like an angel behind him on his shoulder, and the guy's looking down like he's distraught, like he's lost the match. And it's called Checkmate because the guy with the angel has lost. But that, like you said, that chess player got to looking at it, and he was like, no, he said, I'm a world champion chess player. He said, they're going to have to change the name of this painting. He said, because there is not a checkmate here. He said that the king has one more move.
Yeah, dude. And it's a great video. I mean, you feel the energy in this video, and it's really inspiring. Yeah, so it's like you're totally right, Johnny, unless you know what you're looking at. Yeah. And you could even say that with conspiracies, right? Like when something's presented and people take it at face value, but you know the history, you can go, no, this is what's actually happening here. And everyone calls you a crazy person, and then it turns out you're right about what you just said. It's so deep, dude. That's why I love this stuff. Did you find it?
I emailed you actually a picture.
I found it. Yeah,
okay.
I don't know if it's this one. Let me see if you guys can.
Is it Christ Fellowship Church? I have
Is
a
this
video.
some
Of
big
that.
Yeah,
guy?
this is it.
It's some big guy, right?
Can we watch it real quick? It's such a great video, dude.
Do I just play it right, Johnny?
Do you mind if we play
But
it?
yeah, you got to put it up over there, though.
Sure. In the museum in the Louvre. I don't know how many of you ever been.
Are you?
Can you guys hear it? I mean,
Yeah, but it's coming out of the thing. Hold on.
Checkmate.
Justin, can you hear it at all?
You have to actually put the sound as. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
it's playing.
Like you have to share it in Zoom. Do you get me?
Oh.
Like hit share screen.
It's a great video, dude. It's fire.
I'll clean this up. Let me just mark it out.
Yeah, and I can tell you too, the Da Vinci painting of the Last Supper, there's actually an Easter egg in that one too. If you look where the Jesus and the apostles sit there and they have that V, well, Judas is the one that breaks the covenant and turns Jesus over. If you look closely at the elbow of Judas, there is a salt shaker that is knocked over and salt spilt on the table. And it's that's no big deal. But back then, they were signaling that Judas was a covenant breaker because they took salt covenants. So that artist, Da Vinci painting that in there, his elbow knocking that salt shaker over was, clear to the people at that time that, okay, they're saying that this guy's a covenant breaker.
Yeah, it's almost like everybody was Stanley Kubrick, where every little thing in every video or every movie means something. Guys, listen, we're all busy. I mean, school's now back. You're running around, you're working, you got kids, you got everything. You got XG, you're playing poker all the time like a fiend, okay? Do you have time to prepare perfect meals? Well, guess what? You can now with our good friends at Home Chef. Let me tell you about Home Chef. As summer winds down and the chaos of back to school season ramps up, are your healthy eating habits slipping due to convenience? Skip the expensive takeout and unhealthy options. Home Chef delivers fresh ingredients and delicious meals directly to you. Save money and simplify your routine with flavorful meals everyone will love. Listen, Home Chef delivers fresh ingredients and chef-designed recipes conveniently to your doorstep, simplifying your cooking experience. Users of leading meal kits have rated Home Chef #1 in quality, convenience, value, taste, and recipe ease. Okay, whether you prefer classic meal kits with pre-portioned ingredients, quick 30-minute recipes, oven-ready options, microwavable meals, or dedicated family menu, Home Chef has everything you and your family needs for hassle-free, delicious dinners, okay? Home Chef has over 30 options a week and serves a variety of dietary needs. Plus, it's economical. Home Chef customers save an average of $86 per month on groceries. That's amazing. And when meal planning ends up on the back burner, check out Home Chef's new 5 ingredients meals that simplify prep with super easy recipes, steps, using just 5 fresh pre-portioned ingredients. I love that. So listen, here's what we got for you. For a limited time, Home Chef is offering our listeners 50% off and free shipping for your first box, plus free dessert for life. Go to homechef.com/tinfoil. That's homechef.com/tinfoil for 50% off your first box and free dessert for life. Homechef.com/tinfoil. Must be an active subscriber to receive the free dessert. Okay? That's how it goes. All right, guys. Hey, listen to me, guys. This crypto market is on a run. Okay, what did Bitcoin get up to 125, Johnny?
Yeah, it was another all-time high.
I mean, they talked about that was going to be in 100 years. Here we are. And listen, maybe you didn't get in Bitcoin in time, even though I think you can. There's a ton of other coins you can get into. You can get in real quick and make some good money. And there's no better person to listen to than James McMahon and Copy My Crypto. Let me tell you about Copy My Crypto. Guys, does it piss you off to watch crypto fly up in price for over a decade and you've still done nothing about it? It makes sense. Crypto is complicated and really boring. Well, here's the good news. You don't need to know a thing about crypto to make money like so many have. The CopyMyCrypto.com membership site shows you the exact cryptos that YouTuber James McMahon personally owns, which means you just copy him. It's like having a big brother that knows exactly what he's doing. You don't need to know a thing you don't need to know a thing about crypto or how to invest. You just simply copy along. So let me tell you about James. He runs the Crypto with James YouTube channel, which has so many more subscribers, and this says 54,000. It's way past that. Okay, he's got a ton of subscribers. In the summer of 2020, he told his viewers to buy 26 cryptos. Had you put $100 in each one, it went on to be worth over 123,000. Of the 26 cryptos, his top pick of the year, the one he singled out, Phantom, went up 692 times. That happens, man. That one call alone has retired a number of people, including guys in their 20s and 30s. Remember, this is public knowledge. You can go to YouTube and verify yourself. So if you'd like to join the over 2,800 members who copy James, then pause what you're doing and head over to copymycrypto.com/tinfoil. That's copymycrypto.com/TFH. Okay. You'll not only find proof of everything I've said, but our viewers get full access for just $1. Yes, you missed out on crypto. Buy a little bit here and there, buy a little bit here and there. But there's over 2 million other cryptos. Do you really think you miss out on all of them? Nope. Guys, don't waste time. Go to the site and read it. Once again, that's copymycrypto.com/TFH. It's ended money worries for so many. It just may do the same for you. Here it is. Can we see it?
There's a chessboard, and there's a guy sitting on the other side. And the guy sitting on the other side has his hand on his head like this. And he's like in desperation. And as they were taking a tour through the Louvre, there had been a group of particularly tour. And in the tour was the world chess champion. And he comes walking by the picture. And the guy's explaining to him, this is a picture of an artist rendering of somebody who lost a battle with the devil. And so the group moved on to the next picture to see something else. But the world chess champion, he stayed there. And he just kept looking at the picture. And soon they noticed that he was not with the group. And so the tour guide came back and said, we've moved on. Are you coming? He said, well, I've been looking at this picture. And the guy said, yeah. He said, it's called Checkmate. The devil's laughing. The man's lost. And he said, yeah. He said, I've been noticing that. He said, but while I've been standing here, I've kept looking at the picture. I got a problem. And he said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, you know, I'm a world champion chess player, and I spend my life playing chess. And normal people don't always see what a world champion chess player sees. He says, but when y'all walked off, I looked at the devil laughing, and I looked at the man in desperation. But he said, I noticed something on the chessboard. He said, either they're going to have to change the painting, or they're going to have to change the name. And the guy said, well, why are they going to have to do that? He said, well, you know, I'm a world champion chess player. And he said, when I observed the board, I found out the king still has one more move. I come to tell somebody today, you believe you've been cornered. You believe everything is gone and nothing has got any hope. But the king still has one more move. In the fullness of time, God sent his son. I dare you to declare it. The king has one more move. He has one more.
Okay, that's fire, dude. That video gives me chills every time I watch it. Makes me want to cry. It's a great video. So let's get back to it. So everything, there's symbolism in everything. Where were you at? Sorry about that. We went on that little tangent.
Oh, no, you're good. I mean, I love that video too. But I was just talking about how throughout the Bible, I showed all those verses to show that symbology and the allegory of trees and branches is used of Satan, and it's also used of family lines and lineages. So I wanted to just kind of lay that out before we jump straight into the meat of the matter of the Garden of Eden. So we come into the Garden of Eden, and we have Adam and we have Eve, and the story goes that Eve bit into this apple, and they ate this apple, and then all of a sudden, like, they got consciousness. They realized they were naked, and this was the knowledge of good and evil, and this is what got them kicked out of the garden. But when you go back and you read it, it says that that Eve partook of this tree, and the Hebrew word there where it says eat, if you look at that, the Hebrew language can have many different meanings, and so it says that she ate. That same word many times in the Old Testament, and New Testament also, it translates to enjoys. So Eve partook of this tree, and she enjoyed. And then it says, then she went to her husband, and he too enjoyed. So
what I'm saying, dude? What are you saying?
I'm saying that I think this is an allegory for a sexual act.
Damn, dude, that's what I thought you were getting into.
And here's the proof of the pudding, guys, okay? And like I said, I done laid it out for you. There's no denying that Satan was described as a tree in multiple passages. And all the branches and all that kind of stuff is allegory and symbolism for genealogies and lineages. Okay, so now we looked at the cause and effect. After she partakes of this tree and enjoys, she then goes to her husband, and he enjoys.
What?
So 2 seeds were germinated during that interaction. Well, then after this happens, what do? They cover their reproductive organs.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, and I had somebody tell me a story when they were first explaining this idea to me. Dr. Joy Pugh, shout out to her. But she said, growing up, she said, my mother was really strict about sweets before dinner. She said, we knew we were not to eat cookies and sweets before dinner. She said, but every once in a while, she said, when my mother would sneak out of the kitchen, me and my sister would climb up on the refrigerator and steal some cookies. She said, we'd try to hurry up and eat them before she came in. She said, well, one time we got caught. And she said, she walked in the room and busted us. She said, you know what we done? She said, the first thing we done, she said, we covered our mouth, because that's where the sin was. That's where the transgression was. That's what we wanted to hide.
So they covered it up because
because they got weird, man. Wow.
So I thought that was pretty telling. And then she said, and you got to remember the people of this time. She said, you got to look at it as they looked at it, because this is an ancient text written to and by ancient people. She said, during this time, she said it was Mosaic law. It was eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. And she said, and if you look at the judgments and curses of God, it always correlates to the crime. She said, so if Eve and Adam would have ate an apple, she said the curse would have been a sour stomach, diarrhea, or rotten teeth, something correlated to eating. She said, but when you look at all of the cursings from the garden, she said they're all about sexual reproduction. The woman is cursed with painful menstruation. She was cursed with painful childbearing. And then what does God say? He says, I will put enmity between her seed and thy seed, talking to the serpent. So God's saying right there, hey, what you've done, you germinated 2 seeds. You're gonna have twins, and it's gonna be man's seed and the serpent's seed, and they're going to be at enmity, at war with each other.
Oh, Johnny, thoughts? This is insanity.
Fascinating. Yeah.
Fascinating is a better word to use. Fascinating. Wow.
And then if we look at the names are even telling the same story. Okay, Cain was the eldest. Well, it says that when you go into the Hebrew etymology of his name, it means acquired. Okay, and if anybody, I'm sure most of us in here are fathers, the name is something very important. When we're coming up with names, there's probably 50 or 60 names that are postulated and thought about and narrowed down. It's chose with intention. What loving mother would name their child acquired? You know what I mean? Because he was basically adopted into the family. Adam adopted him because it wasn't his. And then when you go to Abel, Abel's name, when you go to the Hebrew etymology of that name, it means breath. Well, why was he named breath? Because if you remember, when God created Adam, it said he was a lifeless being until the breath of life was given to him from God. So Abel was named after his father because he was in the similitude of his father. And if we look, when they're kicked out of the garden, what happens? Cain kills Abel. So once again, there'll be war, there'll be enmity between the two. So, I mean, all that stuff makes perfect sense to me with this new set of glasses.
That is incredible. Johnny, any thoughts?
Incredible is the word. Yeah. It's fascinating.
That's so interesting, dude.
Seems plausible, too.
It just, it's so funny, man. It's like you just kind of look back at all these stories from the past, even if you get into Gnosticism, and, everybody has their opinion on that and teach their own, the story of Sophia. She's the first feminist, dude. She's the first feminist. She's like, I'm gonna make life. I'm gonna create on my own. Has a kid, instantly regrets it. What does that sound like? Some single moms out there, right? It's like literally this story as old as time. And now we got this whole thing, and I'm sorry if I'm using this word in this discussion, but this cucking going on here, which is like a big problem right now. You're finding out dads are finding out the kid's not really there. I mean, it's all the same. And this is what I get into, man, where it's like, obviously the people listening to this probably have a strong religious belief. But when I look at sins and I go, here are all these problems, here are these sins, how many of these problems have wrecked my life? Yep. Obviously not murder. I would never do that. But gluttony, the temptation of flesh, all that stuff.
Yeah, sexual stuff is always at the top of the list, and that's what we see here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just this thing where it's like, vagina, we'll say nice in this context, is just so powerful, dude. And it's almost like it's too powerful. It's almost too powerful. It's almost uncontrollable. Right? And we live in this society where we're like, let's go, the divine feminine, whatever you want to say, but there's something about it. And, again, this goes back to Johnny and I's discussion on, the Islam versus the West and which one treats women better, and Johnny just went to London. He would tell you it's the West, which I totally understand. But there's also something about when you just kind of release the beast.
Yeah.
And everything that comes with that.
Well, it's funny too that like their solution to the problem of the pee being so powerful is to just put a bag on it. Just put a whole bag on him. If I can't control my urges and it's ruining my life, put a bag on him. That's really their solution to it. It's just like, hey, back him up, bro.
And
we can't take this. It's too much input.
Ours is the exact opposite. Ours is put it all out.
No, totally. Yeah. Neither
and
are
obviously
ideal.
We enjoy the other one, but maybe that's not good either.
Well, to a certain extent, we enjoy the other one. Till it's a family member.
Until it's a family member.
Yeah, and now you're
daughter,
like, put some close up. Yeah,
Dude, even right after you release, think about all the things that are just gross to you. And that
post-nut clarity, dude.
Refractory
You're like,
period,
what have I done? That's a big reason why I quit watching people do weird stuff on videos, right? You're like, oh, it's a giant cult humiliation. That's what they don't understand.
Have you been like sick and then all that like nausea? If you're nauseous and it kind of just brings you into like the fundamentals of survival, you're getting that mindset. I do anyway. I don't know about you guys. And so all that shit is just disgusting to you in that moment. You're just like, look at us. We're all filthy pigs. You know what I mean? And I think that's really like a little tap from
fall
the
of
creator.
man
like, hey.
Was because of the pee.
Yeah.
Still is.
Yeah.
At least on the West.
And there's some message
crazy
in there about like procreation and stuff too. And that, the desire to procreate. That.
Poor Adam didn't have DNA tests back then.
Yeah.
He'd be a Maury Povich.
The DNA test results are in, and you are not
the father. Oh!
I told you.
I told you, bitch. Wow, bro. Mind blowing, dude. That is mind blowing. It the Bible's so
and I was just going to say that too. That, and when I bring that up, it's a paradigm buster. And when you bring that up, man, it's like, two things happen typically. It's fight or flight. And I've had people just shut down, not even want to talk about it. Then I've had other people call me a heretic and that I deny Christ and I'm going to hell and all kinds of crazy stuff. And it's like, man, if y'all just be patient and hear the rest of my talk, I think I could show you that in the very least you'd have to say, man, it's a possibility.
Those people suck, by the way. The people who call you a heretic just for, interrogating your own faith, those people are perhaps worse than the others.
If you have a belief, you should be able to take questions and counter arguments.
That's in the Bible. The idea of testing and trying your faith. Is part of the.
See, but that's kind of a little bit what made me lose it, because I went to communion, where you go to with a bunch of little kids and you try to ask questions because you're 13. You're like, well, why this, why that? We don't ask questions here. This is what the Lord said. Yeah. You sit down, and as a kid, you're like, wait, let me ask questions, and that's when you're like, okay, since you don't want to tell me, there's some holes in here, then.
Yeah.
And then that's when you figure it out. You're like, oh, something's going on.
Yeah. I mean, dude, let's go. Keep going, dude. This is great.
Yeah. And I can show you throughout Scripture that this is nothing new, and this is something the ancient people believed, and it was in their wheelhouse and thought processes. So, with that being said, if you go to 1 John chapter 3, verse 12, John comes right out and tells you that Cain was of the wicked one. So, if you go there, it says, we should not be like Cain, who was of the evil one and murdered his brother. And that word "of" is always used to describe, a descendant of, a son of. When they're using that in context of father, son, it's saying that they're of that person, they're of that family, that lineage. And you even have that same word used earlier when I talked about the root of Jesse, the Messiah. So this was, common knowledge to the people back then. And John just says it outright. He was of the evil one, who was a murderer from the beginning. We know Cain was the first murderer. He killed his brother. And once again, John, chapter 8, verse 41 through 44. So, like, the context of this passage here is Jesus is in an argument with the Pharisees, and he calls them a den of vipers, compares them to a serpent. And they're going back and forth about genealogies and claiming that they are of the seed of Abraham. So the context of this conversation shows that there's two families, two branches, and they're going back and forth saying, oh, I'm of Abraham's seed. I'm not of the other one's seed. And I'm going to read some of that just to show you the context of that. So it's John 8:41. So with all that context in mind here, it says, and this is red letters, this is Jesus. It says, you are doing the works of that your father did. They said to him, we were not born of sexual immorality.
Damn.
Whoa. Because they're talking about Cain. Cain was born of sexual immorality. He was of the other seed. They're claiming to be of Abraham's seed, the good seed. So if we continue, it says, we have one Father, even God. And Jesus said to them, if God were your Father, you would love me, for I came from God, and I am here. I came not of my own accord, but he who sent me. Why do you not understand what I say? It is because you cannot bear to hear my word. You are of your father, the devil, and your will is to do your father's desire. He was a murderer from the beginning, and does not stand in the truth, because there is no truth in him. So here you have Jesus telling the Pharisees that they're a pit of vipers, comparing them to serpents, and then they're arguing, saying that they're of the seed of Abraham. And Jesus comes up and says, then they reply with, we were not born of fornication. We have one Father, because they're talking about this seed war. Cain and Abel, they had two fathers, and one was of the evil one. And I've showed you two verses where John just comes right out and says it. He's of the evil one, the wicked one, who was a murderer from the beginning. I mean, the context of that whole conversation is Cain and the seed war.
Guys, we are fighting demons over here, okay? We're fighting these eugenic demons who don't want us having kids, and the only way to do it is to bang our way out of it, okay? That's right. It's up to you to save humanity by dropping hard D's on everybody, and there's one company who's working with the Lord, and that's our friend at Blue Chew. Let me tell you about Blue Chew, everybody. Blue Chew isn't just a tablet. It is a cheat code for your crotch. Stronger, harder, longer lasting, like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex, okay? I love it, dude. I eat it, then my dick eats one, and we were double bangers, bro. Double bangers, dude. And we just roam the streets, keeping the city safe for the ladies. And guess what? Everybody's getting pregnant. That's how it goes. Everybody gets pregnant. That's how it goes. We're shooting mad shots, okay? Mad shots. Now, I'm probably down to one a night, but still, that shot is lethal. Bang, bang,
He
pow.
don't miss.
Yeah, daddy don't miss.
You doing the max combo?
Max combo. Oh, yeah. Getting into it. I just want an angry dick. That one's so big, it's so angry, it just fights for freedom. That's what I'm looking for, guys. Okay? So, guys, this isn't just a call about performance. It's about legacy or third legacy, okay?
No, that's good.
Give her group chat something to talk about. You know, when you lay it down, they're talking about how it gets up. Yes, nothing makes you more a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we got a special deal for our listeners. As always, get your first month of Blue Chew free. Just use the promo code TINFOIL at checkout and pay $5 for shipping. That's it. Join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head to BlueChew.com for details and safety info. And a huge, huge rock hard thanks to Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast.
Here's one, dude, and honestly, when I found this one, this was when I was first trying to, flesh this out and see if it held water. This was the final nail in the coffin for me. Because, like, when you go to the King James, when Eve, partakes of the tree, in the King James Version, it says that she was beguiled by the serpent. And that word has a sexual connotation to it. And anytime you look through the scripture and that word's used, more often than not, it does. It has a sexual connotation. So when we get to the writings of Paul, and like I said, this was the final nail in the coffin for me. I'm like, okay, this is true, man. But when you go to 2 Corinthians chapter 11, starting in verse 2, it says, "For I am jealous over you with godly jealousy, for I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Christ. But I fear, lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety." It comes right out, and this is a sexual context. He says, "I have a jealousy for you. I prepared you for one husband as a chaste virgin, but I'm afraid that you will be beguiled as Eve was beguiled by that serpent."
Damn, dude.
That word's kind of dirty, beguiled.
Yeah, but it's just like the devil took her virginity, man. I mean, that's
exactly what Paul's saying. You can't deny it.
Wow. Just slinging that pee all over the place. Damn, dude.
What do you think? Okay, so I've heard it, and it's been told that angels didn't have reproductive organs, and humans were perhaps the only ones with that. What do you think about that?
Well, I think because like when you go to Jude, when they're cast down, it says that they basically lose their oiketerion, which is like their light body, their spirit body that they have in heaven. And Jude says, they traded and kept not their first estate. So it's like when they come down here, they were in fleshly form. And I think we see that repeatedly in the Bible, because if we remember Abraham, he's sitting there, and the angels and God show up, and they're going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. It says that 3 men come up, and that they sit down, they eat, and they rest because they're tired. And then the 2 angels go into Sodom. The people there want to have sex with them, and Lot lets them in their house, and they run them off and everything. But it says
that place was wild, by the way. That the way they describe that place is,
what place?
Crazy. Sodom and Gomorrah. It was just wild, bro.
It's probably the Tenderloin in San Francisco.
Truly, like people couldn't get out of there without getting like you couldn't even walk through that town without getting it up the ass.
So it shows you they were fleshly and they were tired because he even tells Lot, hey, we'll go outside and sleep in the alley. And he's like, no, you're going to sleep in here with me. It's not safe out there. So we see this time and time again. These angels, they walk, they eat, they get tired, they want to sleep, and they obviously reproduce if we take face value at what the scripture says.
Dude, that is
interesting.
Crazy.
Yeah. And to push it even further, to reaffirm, because I'm telling you, I got stuff for days on this. I can show you all kinds of stuff that correlates to this idea that I'm pitching to you guys. And Jesus had parables talking about the seed war, saying it again from the words of Jesus. And one of them is the parable of the wheat and the tares. And if we go to John chapter 15, verse 6, it says, if anyone does not remain in me, he is like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are gathered up and thrown into the fire and burned. So he's alluding to this seed war again, these branches, this genealogy. And furthermore, it's like if there was not 2 lines, 2 seeds that they were trying to keep up with, what was the point of all the genealogies, folks?
Yeah.
They were doing that to separate the pure line, the line of the Messiah, because there was obviously a dirty line. If there's a good line, there's a bad line.
Yep.
And Cain was taken out of those genealogies. If you go through those genealogies, Cain's gone because he's not of that family tree, folks. And they knew that. And the parable of the wheat and tares, okay, for those that's just not familiar, I'll read that really quick. And this one is one of my favorite ones. And I never seen it in this light until I started looking at it with this kind of lens. But it says, this is Jesus teaching. And like I said, Jesus taught in parables. It was esoteric back then. But he says, another parable he put forth to them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like a man who sown good seed in his field. And like I've showed you many examples, seed is another, allegorically speaking, of genealogies of children. He sowed seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sown tares among the wheat.
Oh my God.
And went his way. But when the grain had sprouted and produced a crop, then the tares also appeared. So the servants of the owner came and said to him, Sir, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have tares? He said to them, The enemy has done this. The servant said to him, Do you want us then to go and gather them up? But he said, No, lest while you gather up the tares, you also uproot the wheat with them. Let them grow together until the harvest. And at the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, First gather together the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. So it's talking about Revelation, the end of days, separating the wheat from the tares, the wicked from the righteous. And the unrighteous, the bad seed that the enemy sown, is bundled up and thrown into the fire.
So if you're getting there, tell me, but the implication for this is that there's some genetic component to judgment. Am I understanding that right?
I think that that is how it all started, but since Christ came,
okay, I
think now it's all like free will choice. There's some people that ascribe to this theory that I'm talking about now, and they see it as just strictly genealogy. So if you were born in this family, you're automatically screwed. You're going to hell. There's no salvation for you. I do not ascribe to that. I do not believe
so
that.
So the new covenant changed things as far as you're concerned.
We all have a free will choice.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
but you have that same story being told. I'm sorry, Sam.
But isn't that kind of like the argument in the Canaanites when you see people arguing, well, if it's a God, loving God, why did he go say kill women and children? And then you get into, well, the Canaanites were doing child sacrifice, so they were already killing their children. But then do you make the kids pay the price for the adults? And, I think we all agree that should not be the case. It's interesting, right? And see,
the thing is, too, is those were direct hybrids. So when we go to that, all those tribes that were listed, they were offspring of fallen angels. But at the same time, like I said earlier, I don't think it was just the bloodline and genealogy that got them killed. I think, yes, they were Nephilim, they were hybrid creatures. But if you look at their actions, like you said, Sam, they were sacrificing children through the fires of Molech. They were killing people, drinking their blood. Like we talked last time, the Amalekites, they were a Nephilim race, and they were known as the blood lickers and known sorcerers and witchcraft. So it's like they were ultimately extinguished, in my opinion, because of their wickedness.
Damn.
But that same parable, you have it over and over again. And Jesus told another parable of of separating the sheep and the goats, and it was the same storyline as the one that I said above, but he changed it out and said for sheep and goats. And with the goats, you have all kinds of correlations with the devil, the Nakash, because you have the Azazel goat that the Israelites would cast all their sins on this goat and send it out into the wilderness to Azazel, the fallen angel. And then, like we talked last time, Esau, he was covered in hair from head to toe, like a hairy cloak. The ancient thought was he was of the serpent seed. And his brother Jacob, to fool their blind father, what do? They kill a goat and take the goat's fur and wrap it around him to fool their father. So there you have, another correlation to this Hasatan to these goats.
Wow. And this is all in your book, huh?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You gave me a copy. I'm going to read it.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff in there, man, because this is such a broad subject. But with all that said, guys, and here's the thing that really kills me is, I'll give you, probably like an hour of scripture and things all pointing to this theory. People that just, like I said, they close their mind and they do not want to accept anything new or hear nothing else out because they got it all figured out.
Yeah.
Or their pastor they've had for 20 years has told them this, so therefore they believe it. They use one verse. I just give you, 20 or 30 and all kinds of examples, even outright John saying Cain was of the wicked one. They will use one verse to try to destroy that mound of evidence. So it's like, if you had 20 soldiers and you show up with one, is that one going to kill all the 20? Is that one trump the whole army? No, it don't work like that. But that verse is in Genesis 4:1. And this is right after they're expelled from the garden. And in there it says that Adam knew his wife, Eve, and she bore Cain. And then again, Abel. But it says at the birth of Cain that she gives this proclamation and she says, I have acquired this man with the help of the Lord. And that word Lord is the tetragrammaton, the Yod-He Vav-He. And so people say, well, there you go. It says that Adam knew his wife and she bore Cain. Well, that word bore means deliver. It don't mean conceive. So if the Hasatan had already germinated a seed and then Adam knew her, he just germinated another seed. And then for the people that say, well, what about the special proclamation? And I'm like, yeah, what about that? how come Cain got a special proclamation and Abel didn't? She didn't say the same thing about Abel. She said that I have acquired this man through the help of the Lord. And remember, Eve is told to be the mother of all living. Scripture doesn't say that Adam is the father of all living. It doesn't say that.
Snaps.
But when you go through, there's this theory that's been out for a long time, and throughout the 20th century, it was widely accepted, and it's called the documentary hypothesis. And all these scholars come together and seen the writing styles of these 5 books of the Torah, and they suggested that they basically compiled a documentary, that there were several different writings and versions, and they compiled them into one. And I didn't know this, but when I was reading that, I was trying to figure out that verse. And one thing I noticed was when you go through Genesis, it doesn't use the tetragrammaton, the Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey, Lord in caps. It uses the word Elohim. It says, in the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. And the Elohim said, let us make man in our image. That's how it's constantly referring to God. Well, that word in Hebrew can be singular, referring to a single God, but it can also be plural, more than one. And when it's used, I believe they're talking about God's divine counsel. And that's why we get the plural language in creation. They said, let us make man in our image. The Elohim said that, the gods with an S. It was the divine counsel of God. And that's a theme we see throughout Scripture. And so I was like, well, as we get down through here, it's just Elohim, 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 talking about God, until we get to this section. And then it says, the Lord, Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. And we're told that the divine name was not given until Moses, long, long after. So when I looked at this documentary hypothesis, it made total sense, because it shows, if I wrote a book and I'm writing a book about you, Sam, and I'm like, Sam woke up and done this today, and Sam did this and that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you get to the next chapter, and I'm no longer calling you Sam. I'm calling you, Jesse. Now Jesse works here and does that. You're going to be like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
And that's what happens here, because it shows it's not the same writers. And I believe, now, like I said, this is what I believe, my hypothesis, because it kept using the word Elohim, Elohim, Elohim. Then all of a sudden, this name is inserted. I think that whether it was Moses or a later edition, whatever, but I stick with the original name, because we're in the same book. So I think the original writing, when she has Cain, she says, I have acquired this man with the help of the Elohim. What Elohim? The Nakash. That's who.
Oh my God, it's crazy. And people get mad at you for this?
Oh yeah, I've been called a heretic. I deny Jesus. I'm going to hell. I'm a false teacher, false prophet. And man, that's something that gets on my nerves so bad in my Christian community. It's like, if you say something that they don't agree with, they can't just be like, hey, I know you're a Christian, you love Christ, but I just don't agree with you on that. I just don't see it. No, they can never do that. They go into Pharisee mode. It's like, you are a heretic, you're going to hell. And I'm just so glad that I live in a time that stoning and crucifixion is highly frowned upon.
That's funny.
Oh my God.
It would be different if you were using extra biblical text too. But you're just, everything you've quoted is in the Bible. Mm-hmm. I don't, so there's this problem in the church now where like all the questions are settled. There's this idea, because, for the first century of the church, and even beyond, well beyond, these were not, there was so much that wasn't settled, about what we actually believe. And then it all just became codified and ossified and anything now, and like it's any questions now are I mean more than frowned upon.
And the Council of Sinai, what's it called? The Council of
Nicaea, 325 AD.
Yeah, I mean, is that questionable? Do we have any issues with that? Pagans decide what's in the Bible. Again,
that's me, man. A lot of people want to argue and say, "Oh no, that wasn't when they decided what goes in. They already had, a uniformed, canon or a Bible." And yeah, they did, but this was, Catholicism. This was the Roman Emperor uniting all these nations that he had conquered under one religion. They were trying to unify and set a standard, and they did. They made their own canon, and yeah, they got to pick what went in, what didn't. And even the King James, I think it's the 1611. I got a copy of it back here. It's old, dude, but it has the Apocrypha in it. It's got Jubilees, all kinds of old extra biblical books, the Wisdom of Solomon, and all this stuff in it that's not in our Bibles today.
That's my concern, is the manipulation of these texts, not just the Bible, but all these other religious books as well, to kind of form a consciousness and pacify people. That makes me very nervous. And, and we see it, man. You present something in 2025, there are people that still aren't conspiracy theorists, right? They still aren't conspiracy theorists. Well, they are conspiracy theorists. They're progressives who believe in the conspiracy of racism everywhere, the conspiracy of the patriarchy, the conspiracy of anti-Semitism, the conspiracy of homophobia, that this large group of people are conspiring with each other to attack groups. Like, that is a conspiracy. You are a conspiracy theorist. Yeah, you push back on that, and when you present in data, facts, whatever, to counter that, they get very arrogant about their ignorance. I mean, it is one of the most powerful tools out there. Of, if I don't know that, it's not real.
Yep, they got it all figured out, And
it's really crazy to me to watch it happen in real time, to the point it's like, it's the Agent Smith effect. We just had a guest on that was of a certain belief system. We started bringing up that belief system, and he just had a visceral reaction to it, and that's okay. And this show is not about attacking people and their beliefs. It's more about letting people say what they got to say. But yeah, it was a very weird moment there. And
you should be able to defend your faith. You know what I mean? Or at least give a reason to why you believe what you believe. And
you can't believe whatever
First Peter says.
Yeah, I mean, you can believe whatever you want to believe. I'm not going to tell you can't. It's just, again, if you are really, really strong in your base of your belief, you should be able to hear counterpoints and discussions.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, your faith in your God shouldn't be so weak or fragile that it can't be questioned.
Yeah, and and if there is something that you have answers to, it's all right to go, like, I gotta look more into that.
Yep, I agree.
I mean, it's possible. I gotta go look more into that. I've never looked into that, and that is it. And it's like, you got to keep your head on a swivel.
I think part of it is that it's not even any kind of meanness or anything. It's a fear. Because I used to have this view as a kid again, that if one thing was, I found was not consistent or I had to change, that meant the whole thing just kind of toppled like a house of cards. And that was just, I realize now.
This notion that it could be one or the other. Maybe it could be a little bit of both.
Yeah. There's just no flexibility.
You're either with us or you're against us, right? Either a good guy or bad guy.
And I realize now it's so much bigger and more inclusive.
It's not black and white, it's shades of gray.
No, exactly. I tell people all the time, it's like you get a lot of people that'll hardline and be like, no, this is this. It's this way. And then somebody else, no, it's that way. It's this way. It's like 8 to 9 out of 10 times, it's usually in the middle. It's a mix of this and that.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, even when I even remember having discussions with an ex-girlfriend, in college. This tells you how much fun I am. But we
Johnny's wild days.
yeah, boy, we got crazy. Talking about the
BC
Bible.
days before Christ.
and I would, even then I remember saying like, hey, okay, it's not in the Bible, sure, but that, it doesn't say at the end of the Bible, this is everything God ever said or thought. You know what I mean? That there are there's possibilities beyond the Bible. The Bible,
Yes.
I feel like Christians are just so, and I say that as a Christian, but most Christians I know are just so limited by that.
I agree with that statement, Johnny. I do think it's more than just one way of looking at it, and it could be all things, and I think when you limit yourself to one particular road, you limit the opportunity to know about all the different.
It's a good start, though. And if you're starting out, start with that, the fundamentals, for sure. But then, seek it out. It says in the Bible to test and try, things and hold.
And honestly, it's only solidified my faith.
Same.
When I go looking at these other ancient myths and legends and religions and see how they're all, so similar, and just maybe the names have changed or these little caveats, it just gives me a firm foundation to stand on and puts more pieces in my evidence file, man. And it does excites me, and it draws me closer to God. And I feel sorry for those people in that little box of pasture that, never go out, never go searching. They're like, nope, I got everything I need here. It's like, guys, you're not living, you're existing. You're meant to get out there and explore and go on the hero's journey and discover yourself and your creator, man. How boring is it to be on a rope with you might have your bucket of food and water in front of you, but you can only go 3 foot to the left and to the right. Nah, you weren't built that way.
And most people don't know this about how they've hidden history. And it's like, the truth is the only data that's gotten through is the data they want you to know. And because that serves them and their purpose and their ability to hold on to power. And, there's a lot of people who are anti-religion, anti-Jesus, and they talk about how it's just a giant pacifying machine to keep everybody in place. And I go, it seems like crazy to me about that. I'm not saying there aren't deep conspiracies into everything, but when I study all this stuff and, all the sins and all that stuff, I just see how these things have affected my life. And by not doing that, I seem to live a higher vibration, right? And these stories are told, like, you can go off on Christianity or Judaism or Islam, whatever you want to, but these stories have been told for way before the Abrahamic religions, way before that. I don't understand how you can't get into that. You can just tee off on one religion and not realize that these stories and these teachings have been taught over time forever. And actually getting away from these teachings that you say are control mechanisms has actually led to the detriment of society and humanity.
Yeah. And like you talked about too, that the hidden history, we can go into the Smithsonian and all kinds of different stuff, and which I know we're running short on time today, but man, I'd love to come back and talk to you about these elongated skulls. I've done some presentations on it. We got a little more time.
Let's get into it. Talk to me about it. Let's get into it. Are you done with the Seed Wars? Because that was epic, bro.
Good.
That was an all-time banger, dude. That's why I love it, man. That's the shit I love on this show, dude.
Is this one of those dangerous titles?
No, I don't think it's a dangerous title.
No, they'll let you talk about Christianity all you want.
For some reason. The dangerous titles, anything that threatens their power and money.
We can talk about our faith, just not their faith. Any science
or see off on their faith, or corrupt their paradigms that they want to give us.
Well, their church is science. That's the thing. And if we want to play on that turf,
great point, dude. Great point.
Then they come for us.
We had to take a title off and put just dangerous. Have you ever go to Tinfoil Hat YouTube and you see dangerous? Just know it's a banger. And we can't tell you what it is. We can't even put the description into the thing just to tee off the AI.
And it's funny because they know what dangerous means because you can tell by the views. People are like, "Oh, I need to watch this one."
Yeah, 100%. It's like
don't look down.
Yeah, the dangerous on my YouTube. On my website, It's not even listed. You have to be a member just to see the thumbnail because they can go to your website and just looking for trouble.
Yeah.
So I don't even put it on the front page. You got to join the premium content to just see if it's even listed. And it is getting harder and harder to have a dangerous conversation because the conversation is growing so much. And again, people can think we're losing and they want us to think we're powerless. I think that's a big part of AI.
How long do you think till there's no more? I mean, if there ever is censorship on YouTube, they are getting really lenient. I'll be honest with you. They're getting really lenient.
And that's another sign we're winning, right? I think it's another sign that we're winning because they're losing their base. They're losing views. People are going, oh, this is gross. I'm going to go over to Twitter and see the real stuff. I'm going to go to Rumble and see the real stuff. Why do I got to go on YouTube? And yeah, YouTube has captured the kids because it's the easiest operating system to find videos. But eventually they'll get bored of that stuff and they're going to want to find it dangerous. And they've caused Twitter to explode. They've caused Rumble to be where Rumble is because they've ran off so many people. And, you know, the things I talk about on Rogan, I can't talk anywhere else because they don't Rogan.
Yeah.
Because he brings them so much money. They can't kill the cash cow. At the end of the day, they have to make money. They have to make money. Because if they make no money, then the illusion is gone. Because if they're not making money, that means they're not getting eyeballs. And if they're not getting eyeballs, they can't program you.
Yeah, and you crushed it on Rogan, man. I sat there listening to that, and I was like, I think I seen somebody made a comment, and I was like, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's like, Rogan's kind of lost touch of his conspiracy roots, man. He needs to have you on more often to knock the rust off his conspiracy wheel.
I think he's really great at understanding what's going to get him in trouble and what's not going to get him in trouble. But I'm telling people, I've said this forever, Rogan is really great at getting shit out while also acting like having plausible deniability. So you'll put out, be like, oh, come on, man. That's some crazy stuff you're saying right there. But it gets out. It's why flat earth is everywhere because Rogan allowed Eddie Bravo, even if he necessarily didn't agree with it, talk about it all the time.
That is very true.
And now it's everywhere. Like, I think he's a lot smarter than some people want to give him credit for. Because the whole thing is he sends me conspiracy shit constantly. We're always talking. So I'm like, I get it, But it's like, my biggest fear in the world is saying something that gets him in huge trouble. So it's like, you got to walk. Because I would hate to bring that kind of energy on him, So he lets you go crazy. He let me get that little bit out about what I think is going to happen in Palestine based on some things I've heard from friends, but I think he operates a little in a way that he lets people say stuff and then he acts like he's offended, but it still goes out.
Devil's advocate.
Yeah, come on, Sam. He even said at the end, "I love hearing you talk. I don't agree with everything." Okay, dude. Like that's plausible deniability, right? It's like because he could edit that thing down to nothing or not put it out, but he put it right out. I couldn't believe how quickly it came out. It came out the next day. Which is totally different than when
right before Trump.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
I'm a trivia question, dude.
That's so crazy.
The biggest episode of all time in podcasts was Donald Trump on Joe Rogan. What other episode and guests dropped that day? What is comedian Sam Tripoli? Bing, 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 bing. Big bucks. Big bucks. Let's get into your skull, dude.
Yeah, and these elongated skulls, and this is a juvenile, so it's smaller. But these were, I don't know how to word it, I guess kind of like my gateway drug into conspiracy and biblical conspiracies and stuff. Because giants, that was my big fascination. And diving into that rabbit hole, I discovered people like L.A. Marzulli and Dr. Judd Burton, Dr. Aaron Judkins, and all these guys. And they actually went down to Peru to examine these Paracas skulls. And this is a mold casting. So it's a direct replica. It looks identical to it. I actually met L.A. He's one of the signatures on here. But when I brought it to him, he was blown away.
Well, again, if you watch the Rogan episode, he talks about they did those x-rays of those weird skeletons, mummies that they have to see if they were art or actual skeletons. And it looks like they're actually skeletons. One was actually pregnant.
Yeah, I seen that 3 fingers, the Nazca mummies.
Yes, and again, you brought up the 3 fingers of all the ancient art that depicted beings with 3 fingers.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it gets into like this world's a lot more interesting than they want you to know. They want you just to think you're an insect or a as Bill Hicks called it. We were bacterian sneakers or whatever he said that was there. But it's like way more interesting than that. Way more interesting.
Yeah, that's like even these, man. The mainstream archaeology, I want to say, oh well, this is from headboarding. This is from headbinding. Well, when L.A. Marzulli and all those doctorate degrees guys that I mentioned, they went down to Paracas, down in Peru, and studied these and had their hands on them. They had optometrists, all kinds of doctors. They measured all this stuff, documented everything, even took DNA samples. They done the most extensive work on these things. And yeah, some of them were from headbinding, but there were many that they proved was genetic. It wasn't from headbinding.
And why were they headbinding? Why would you possibly want them to look like that?
Well, I mean, they binded your feet back in Asia.
No, but I'm saying is, what are they trying to look like? What are they trying to reproduce?
Yeah. And
it's like a cargo cult kind of thing.
But how far can you bind your skull to go that long?
I think they do it when they're babies, like when their skulls are soft, when their brains are
like
soft.
2 or 3 years old.
Put that next to your head, Justin.
Soft cap closes.
But look, if you put that next to your head, you're a full-grown adult. How would they be able to get your head to be that long?
Look, I get what Sam's trying to say. Like, if you where do they get the skull, the fracture, the
where
actual?
did they get the actual weight?
It's in the seams. It still grows in the seams, before your skull hardens. And so if you keep putting it in like a, how they shape baby skulls, like babies now.
My baby's had helmets.
Right, to shape because when you get squeezed out, it kind of compresses things and like makes it kind of changes the shape of it like this. And if you just kept like same thing with the neck, they do it in the necks too in like Africa where they stretch their necks out. It's the same kind of thing, but because the skull is like soft that for years, I guess they can do that. But he's saying that some of them are like that, and then some are clearly or not. I don't know clearly or not, but you're saying some they said we're not that way, right?
Not that I would know, but I would assume that a real one would have a bigger brain. Because I don't think your brain grows when you bind it, right? If you were to bind it like at how they did it.
Well, I think you have the same brain matter in there, right? By
but
weight,
you're saying that would have a bigger brain.
But I'm saying if there is a real one, the real one would have a bigger brain. Like the one that they're trying to replicate, the first person.
I don't know if they could ever tell that because the tissue would be probably gone by then.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, the brain case volume on the ones that they deemed were genetic were like 15 to 20% larger in case volume. So it would be safe to assume that, if it's 15% larger, that it'd have to be filled with something. So that they postulate that they did have bigger brains. But there's so many changes in these things. That's what I was going to show you guys, because the ones they proved that was not headbinding, that they were genetic. And like Johnny was saying, the ones they were imitating, they wanted to be like, I think is what we talked about today, the seed war. This is a hybrid race.
Oh, really?
And so when we look, everyone has a Sadra Sutra, and that's kind of what Johnny was alluding to earlier. And it's like a peace sign. It travels up the top, and once it gets to the back, it branches off into a Y. All the ones that they found from headboarding, they have their Sadra Sutras. But some of these, they don't have one like this guy. Huh. There is no Sadra Sutra line. And so the headbinding doesn't get rid of that. So that, signals that this is genetic. And then another thing is if you look at the eyes, they're 25 to 30% larger than a normal human.
Oh my God, they had giant bug eyes.
Oh, I would love to have seen what these
Would you, Johnny? If one showed up, you wouldn't freak out?
No, I'm in a photo. I don't want one in my house or anything. But for a photo, I would love to see a photo of what they look like with skin on.
I think Sam
has anyone tried to reproduce that? Have you seen a good attempt at that?
Yeah, actually, I got a book right here that from Brian Forrester.
I'd love to see it.
Oh yeah, I don't think Sam would if it was a female.
Oh, interesting.
I thought he would, but right now I think he'd back down.
No way. Well, maybe.
Maybe for humanity.
Maybe just to take it for a test drive.
Yeah, it sounds like I would.
Join the wood army, guys.
But these eyes, though, that head binding and stuff, it doesn't change the size of these eye sockets. So once again, this is something genetic.
How do teeth compare? How do teeth compare to human teeth, like in number and shape and size?
Some are different, and they're not all the same. But some of them they reported had double rows of teeth.
Double rows of teeth. Oh, come on.
Yeah, some of the infants that were born had elongated heads, but they had molars.
Oh, they were born
as an infant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and their soft cap was still open, so it showed you they were an infant.
Whoa.
But that optometrist, when he looked at these eyes, he said, if they're, the sockets are 25 to 30% larger, then it's safe to assume that the eyes and pupils were also. He said, and the distance between them is more narrow. He said, so they're built like a nighttime predatory animal, like an owl.
Whoa.
So he postulated that these things had night vision, and it goes right along with all the legends and lore of giants, that they were cave dwellers. So I thought that was pretty cool. And another thing is right here. This is the anchor point where the spine goes into the head. Well, here it's all the way at the back. Well, if you Google search and look up a normal skull and even the elongated head ones that were, proven from head binding, the anchor point's right here, dead center, because it's the balance point. But you had this big elongated head. If you had the mount point here, he'd just be looking up at the sky all the time. So it's anchored in the back to compensate and balance this elongated head. So that shows you it was genetic. It was programmed in.
Of course. That's fascinating.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you think humans, in a weird way, kind of killed them off? They just disappeared. They didn't, if they were real.
Yeah, I think it's between that and also getting bred out. And one story that I like to share with you guys from South America where these are found. And by the way, you do a quick Google search. These things, Peru gets all the attention, but they're found everywhere, every continent. North America, China, the Oceania region, Europe, the Levant, Egypt, everywhere. And like you have depictions of Akhenaten and his wife Nefertiti. Yeah. They had these elongated heads. I mean, it's
what does that tell?
worldwide.
I mean, that's obvious that that's such a good point. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. And so with the South Americans, though, where these are found, they have the story of Veracocha and Quetzalcoatl. And both of those gods are mirrored images of each other. Their stories are almost identical. And so with the story of Veracocha, it says that he arrives one day from the ocean, and he is on a boat of serpents without paddles. And that he shows up with a group of people like disciples, and they're called the Veracochan. And they show up, and they civilize mankind. And it's basically kind of like Genesis 6, like we talked about earlier. The same story just told everywhere. So they gave them the 7 sacred sciences, taught them to be peaceful, taught them how to make weapons and tools, taught them how to do sacred geometry and architecture and all these things. And all the cities that they name follows a straight, like northwestern path through the continent. And they call that the path of Veracocha. And without fail, every single one of those cities named, we find huge megalithic architecture and elongated skulls out the wazoo. And according to the legends, the Veracocha and his Veracochan were pale skinned, red-haired, and had elongated skulls.
That's crazy.
So that's who they were trying to venerate, in my opinion. And that's why the Spaniards, when they showed up, took over the continent with such ease, because when he went all the way across the continent, him and his Veracochan left, but they told him that they would return one day and they would help the people and do this and do that. So when the Spaniards showed up, here's these guys on these huge boats without paddles. They were sailing, and they were pale skinned, had beards, and had on this shining, metal armor, probably glistening and glowing in the sun. They thought it was the return of Veracocha and his Veracochan.
And those would have been people who never saw them, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they were giving them gold, money, women, and, worshiping them as gods. And they just were like, hell, we'll just go along with it. They're giving us everything we want without even having to fight. Then after a while, they figured out the ruse, and then they fought back. But at that point, the Spaniards were so great in number and deep into their territory, they couldn't win.
Yeah, the Aztecs were hated so much that all the tribes around them hated them. So the Spaniards literally teamed up with everyone else that hated the Aztecs. Like, you guys want to take over this empire? And they all teamed up against the Aztecs. It's crazy because you're asking, like, how did 100 people take over a whole empire? Everyone else hated them. Imagine.
Whoa, that's crazy.
They literally went, oh, you hate the Aztecs? Oh, you hate the Aztecs. Oh, they sacrificed your family? Why don't we team up? And that's how it all. And then they were, yeah.
Wow.
And what's crazy too is like when you go to some of these Spaniards, like the explorers and stuff, they found their journals, and they talk about that while they were there exploring and doing their thing, that they noticed a race of people amongst the tribes, that they were taller than the people, and that they had pale skin, full beards, and elongated heads. They stood out like a sore thumb because these are people that were shorter, dark-skinned, and couldn't even grow beards. And so the Spaniards started asking some of the locals, who are these people? Where did they come from? They're obviously different. And they recorded in their journals that they told them that these are the descendants of the Veracocha.
That's crazy. Because they described seeing like populations of these skulls, right? Like whole populations of those skulls.
Yeah.
Being found, the human ones. That's fast. And I've heard in the past you'd have to pull it up. I haven't seen it in a long time, but the snake, how they draw the ships that they arrived on, it almost is like they're trying to describe a technology that is, just inexplicable to them at the time, right?
Oh, that Quetzalcoatl?
Yeah.
It seems it's kind of a repeat. You see that repeated, the snake thing whenever they struggle with. Oh, what is that? Is that the skull again? That was what you just flipped to. Is that the skulls again? Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Now, this one is known as Waiki. And this is not just a skull, guys. It's a full skeleton, but it looks like an infant or a small child. And look, the soft cap is still open, so we know it's an infant. The eye orbits are larger, but look at its teeth. It has molars, guys. Yeah, this ain't no little person. And Waiki was, let me look at it again, the measurements. It was short. I think it was like 19 centimeters, 19.68 inches was how tall this thing was. And they named it Waiki. And what I was going to really show you guys is the nail in the coffin for these being genetic. Explorers actually found a elongated skull mummy with a unborn child in the womb with an elongated skull.
No, well, there it is. That's it.
So crazy.
It's game over.
It's like the world's way more interesting than we want to believe. That's why I keep my head on a swivel.
Unless you're ascribing like some kind of birth defect to it, how else could that be?
That was the baby?
Yep.
Oh, poor baby.
It looks like the thing from Alien, doesn't it?
But that's also like those mummies that Joe was talking about.
Yeah.
Yep. They found it in this old journal, and it said that they described everything and the measurements, what cave they found it in and what city, and they said that they were sent to Europe for more testing, and that they had disappeared and they hadn't seen it since. But it was documented and drawn in the journals.
And they just want to keep all this away because they want everyone to believe that we're just not, that this area, wherever we live, is way more interesting than they want us to believe.
If you were a serious, wouldn't this be the number one thing you were looking into if you worked at a university that was into this kind of shit?
Not if I'm the elder statesman of this belief system.
You'll lose your tenure.
You lose your tenure, you lose your you lose your standing because your data's old. You hold on to it until you retire. Then you're like, I don't give a shit what you guys talk about. But you don't want it while you're in charge because they're going to be like, old man, you're talking about old stuff.
What do you guys think about the whole, the Egyptologist guy who keeps trying to, went on Rogan, and then Rogan said it was the worst episode ever, and then now he's kind of doing a press tour, kind of shitting on Rogan. I don't know, have you seen?
Yeah, he went on this huge show, and everyone called it the worst episode of all time. and he's kind of like, whoa, I gotta defend myself.
I'm just
what's his name, Wassine or something like that. But he's basically the gatekeeper of
Egypt,
Egyptian knowledge and archaeology.
No, but he's been on a bunch of shows, and he's like an old school.
Zaki Hawass.
Yeah,
is the guy's name. Yeah, and he's exactly as you said, a gatekeeper. And he's one of the only people that can do whatever the hell they want. And he did that debate about like, hey, why aren't we doing better research here? Why aren't we trying to drill down to see what's in those compartments below the? And he's like, you don't just drill down into it's dangerous. He's talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, it just typical.
If we use conspiracy language, he's the controlled opposition.
Absolutely, yes.
Yep, he's the gatekeeper. His job is to stop anyone from passing through. That's basically what his job is.
And he's like, and then as you said, controlled opposition, because he claims they're trying to do all that stuff. It just takes forever,
I mean, what's forever?
Yeah, literal forever.
It's not happening. Is that?
Because he at least doesn't want to be wrong in his own lifetime.
Well, it's also that like the official story is that the Egyptians created them, and if that's not true, what does that do to
everything?
All the known history
and
of
their
Egypt.
egos. That's their life's work.
Yeah.
Even if they know they're wrong, they're not going to admit they're wrong because that's their legacy. That's their whole life's work.
Yeah. I mean, they did that in Huntsville, Alabama, where it's like, oh, Von Braun was a good guy. He just didn't want to do that. Oh, really? He was hanging people in the concentration camps. Justin, this has been fucking fire.
They only hang the slow workers.
Yeah.
I would have been see my running style, I would have been hung first group.
Couple zincs in you, and I think you'd step it up.
Deep shit.
Yeah.
I would have been in deep shit. Justin, great episode. Mind-blowing episode. Really, really enjoyed it. One more time, tell them where they can find you and where they can find your book.
Hey, I appreciate you having me back on, man. I always love the conversations, and thanks for letting me nerd out on you guys. Like my shirt says, I'm a scripture nerd, bro.
I do. Yeah. I want to. Is your whole show like this? Is your whole show just breaking this shit down?
Yeah.
Are you going to church anywhere? I wonder, like someone like you, what do you do for that, for like fellowship, and to get like to study and stuff? Do you go anywhere?
Yeah. Well, honestly, I've been, I just got divorced about 2 years ago, and I've kind of not found a church since then because I had to move away a little bit.
I imagine that's hard for like for me. It's hard for you to find a place that is kind of. So many of them are just so dopey. I don't know another way to say it, but just very. They're not. What would you say? Like studio or not academic?
Yeah.
And I want some more academic meat. Like I want people to I want my pastor to have translations. You know what I mean? Not just to be going straight from KJV and boring me to tears every Sunday. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I went to church, and honestly, it was just like I was going there for the community and kind of for the spiritual side of it. But as far as like learning new stuff, no, I probably knew more than my pastors did. But
that's disappointing.
I just took it upon myself to wean myself off the milk and learn how to eat chicken on my own.
It's hard, man. It is hard.
Yeah, eat the meat, spit out the bones. That's one of my favorite sayings.
Sorry, repeat that. Sorry.
Oh, I just said one of my favorite sayings is learn how to eat chicken because you eat the meat and you spit out the bone.
Wow.
If you hear of a place though online, because I'm always looking for, a place. I wish there was a place like that, even if it's like a Zoom based thing or something.
Yeah. Well, honestly, dude, my show, and I guess it'd be a good way to plug it and get on out of here. But my show, Prometheus Lens podcast, it's just like what we've done today. I explore all kinds of cool fringy topics, and I have guests on, but I always filter it through my biblical worldview and lens, and try to see how it stacks up and filters, through my, lens of Christianity. And like I said, I'm not your standardized cookie cutter Christian. A lot of people call me a heretic and everything else. So if you want to come be a heretic and learn some more fringy stuff in the Bible, come on over, Prometheus Lens podcast. And I call it the hero's journey. Join us on the hero's journey, man. Anywhere you can consume content and all those fine establishments. And if you liked our conversation today, we just, shedded the tip of the iceberg. This is 15 chapters, and it's all of the stuff that we talked about today and also our last episode. But thank you, Sam.
All the links below. Justin, great episode. We look forward to our next conversation, and let's break down the episode. All right, what did you guys think of Justin Brown?
Jesus deep. I like it.
Yeah, that was a fire episode, guys. Fire episode.
Yeah.
I love that. That's what I love on the show. Hidden history, just looking at the code, trying to decipher it.
Did you ever think it was going to get a little sexual?
Well, I mean, dude, it's all
I know.
everything. Every fall of everything was someone slinging ass, and it messed up everything. It's the fall of everything. It's the story of time.
You're so right.
He's so right, yeah.
I mean, like Eve boned a tree, dude. Eve was slinging it to trees, dude.
What type of vagina do you think that was? Just
And then Adam got the sloppy seconds on that. You're only the second guy to hit it, and it's all.
You're going after a tree.
You're going after a tree?
Can't compete with the tree.
Oh my God. I mean, that was insane. That was insane. That's the only thing I wanted to talk to him about. I was talking to my friend Tony back home, and he was talking about the fallen angels mating with men is like not in the Bible.
Oh.
And it's like kind of the outside the Canaanite, what's it called?
Outside of the canon. It's apocryphal.
Outside the canon. Yeah, and I just feel like you do a real big disservice when you exclude everything.
Well, everything he read was from the Bible. You just have to read it allegorically, as he was saying, not literally. If you want to get there. And I get some people just don't believe in that. They don't want to do that. And
well, because the whole theory is like you're not supposed to interpret it, right?
Yeah, I mean, some people say that. Yeah, it's also like you can have a full Christian life and just not even, because none of that has an impact on you today. Do you know what I mean? Like knowing whether fallen angels mated with humans, that doesn't, as I'm leading my life, has nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? It's interesting to know, I think.
Well, I mean, it kind of plays into the powers that be and what they're doing, who they're descendants of, you know?
Yeah, but practically, if you want to be a good Christian, you don't need to know that. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessary.
I mean, dude, that was mind-blowing.
Absolutely.
I'm all about that, dude.
I got some bad news, by the way, for you on your painting story about the Checkmate thing. It's apparently not true.
So the guy wasn't a real chess player?
Well, part of it is it's real. No, well, there's some debate about whether that story is true. But in the painting, it's hard to even tell what
Nobody likes you,
the
Johnny.
pieces are in. And the chess nerds online who have examined it over the years have all come to the same conclusion that it's a hopeless position for the he's in some check in however many.
Oh, so he does have a move, which they're correct, but the thing it's irrelevant
it's still
because that
check,
move.
though. Yeah, he's in a no-win scenario at that point.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where he moves. It's still a loss. Okay, I get what that means because I don't know nothing about chess, but I could see
That's
how
why
it could be.
Satan has that shit-eating grin on his face.
He's like, either way, no matter where you go. Oh,
yeah.
So you think that obviously? Do you think that first poker player knew? I mean, the first.
Well, someone said that it's what do they call it? Catholic Church pasta. You know, like just how they have creepy pasta. It's like just shit the Catholic Church made up, basically. Like it's what some people were saying.
So what's very interesting is I found this new channel I found on YouTube called Esoteric Guardian. They're really
nice name. I like that name.
They're really great. I mean, it's some dark shit they talk about. But they were basically breaking down that that all of the 13 families follow a specific fallen angel.
Like worship it?
Yeah, like they basically worship it. And I did can you go down a little bit, dude? Go down on my website real quick. I want you to go down and just
go down on his
go
website,
down
bro.
and work the balls.
Go
to load more. Go load more. Okay,
balls.
keep going. Oh, there it is. The 13 demonic royal bloodlines and how they basically, each one of these bloodlines worship a different demon, which kind of fits into this whole thing where it's like fallen angels and bloodlines and all that stuff. It's probably one of the best episodes I've ever done on samtripoli.com. You can just grab my premium content. I took a week and a half off because I was traveling, but I'm putting up 3 episodes a week on there. Deep dives, whatever this is, oh
wow! I mean, we're on YouTube, so give them the Tinfoil Hat YouTube channel. But this is the channel you're talking about.
Yeah,
it's huge. It gets numbers. Yeah.
It's a great. I mean, dude, whoever does the narration is super interesting, dude. Like it's super. I like that one. The Secrets of Pinocchio.
The thumbnails are great too.
By the way, get ready for AI YouTube channels. We're maybe a year away from that AI generated YouTube channels.
But YouTube wants to do something about it. Like they're supposedly going to punish you if you're just all AI.
Because you got to think about it. You don't want to pay. They don't want to pay AI. They don't want to pay someone not doing anything.
Well, supposedly Spotify is behind all these AI bans so they have to pay less.
Explain what you mean.
So supposedly there's a rise on Spotify of AI bands coming up.
Bands. Oh, I thought you meant like bands. Like no. Like,
No.
Bands,
AI
music.
bands playing music. And a lot of people think Spotify's behind it because then they have to pay less money. They're basically paying money to themselves if they're creating all these bands.
Ooh.
So YouTube needs content creators. They need them. And if you're just repurposing shit in AI, it's there's something they want to lock it down.
It sucks though, dude. There's a whole cottage industry. I tweeted about this. Of just fake Sydney Sweeney photos of her, like, oh, look at this paparazzi photo of Sydney Sweeney in a bikini on the beach. And if you know AI, it's clearly AI. They're fake, and it's a whole like this. There's a Facebook page with like hundreds of thousands of followers, and you'll just all these dudes like, ooh, I'd hit it. Ooh, check that ass out, you know. It's just so gross, dude.
Well, YouTube's getting to the point where these super salacious things are down where they'll present something as a fact. They're like, oh, Michael Jordan's been murdered or whatever it is. And it's just so not real. Like, that's what they need to cut down on.
I hate it.
Because people are just going to leave the platform if that's all that's being presented.
Twitter's got a problem with it, dude. Twitter's got a real problem with it. There's so much fake shit or shit from like 10 years ago that's getting viral again. It's all rage bait, you know. It's all like
well, they have a bot problem, and I guarantee you he got talked to that they need the bots to astroturf movements.
It's gotten worse. The bot thing has gotten worse.
It's gotten so bad, and they all talk shit.
If you look, and that's all they do.
If you go to don't go to it, but if you go to Joe Rogan's YouTube channel, go look at the comment section. There's tons of bots there. And what people will do is they'll get a bot program to just suggest that, oh, you got to get this guy on the show.
Yeah.
And you just see it over and over again. And I saw it with a friend of mine. I was like, okay, people are really passionate about getting him on. But then I saw a guy with his book, and it was like 3 comments right in a row saying the exact same thing. And I was like, oh, dude, this is how you think you get his attention.
They do it for investing too. I've seen we get comments like that on Cash Daddies. They'll be like,
you know who really knows Jackson.
Yeah, you know who knows the best about and really hooked me up in my crypto portfolio? It was JJ Jackson.
Yeah, well,
check him out. And then somebody else will come
Jackson's on fire
and comment on their comment, being like, I had a lot of questions about JJ Jackson. I wasn't sure about him, but then he actually sent me emails directly, and they go to jjjackson.com.
Yeah, I think people are gonna wake up to it and be like, I'm over this bullshit.
But what was my grandma, who I told you is just sharing this
she
shit that's
loves
obviously
sharing
fake.
that stuff
like
about wounded warriors.
What about when it gets to be like real scams? I'm worried about old people having to confront people who didn't grow up with computers, because it's getting to the point where we can barely tell.
Oh, I do,
and we're good at it.
The other day I was podcasting with my friend, and he brought up that the guy from got a federal crime, going to jail for life. The second he said it, I was like, did you even look into it? And he knew instantly I got caught. And I was
anytime
like,
you see a thing that looks like a news story, but you can't see the byline, that's the person who authored it or who published it, like the Daily Mail or whatever, it's fake. 100 times out of 100. And you see him get passed around X all the time, like Epstein, back from the dead, any of that shit is, if you can't see the byline, who wrote it, because they make it that way so you can't look it up and see if it's real.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? If you want the real stuff, go to YouTube.
Yes.
Go to youtube.com/@tinfoilhat YouTube. It looks like we're going to be acquiring the not tinfoil hat as well, but we're going to keep publishing it here because we're cooking with gas. We have over 3,500 subscribers, and that's
Nice.
only in like, what, how long?
2 months? A month
2
and a
months.
half?
So
yeah, so we thank you guys.
we'd like to get it up to what it was before the bans happened, which was 100,000. I think we could totally do that. But, join us there. Also go to samtripoli.com. It is the pure shit. If you're looking for street level pure shit, okay, samtripoli.com. I told you about the premium content, but check out the Cash Daddies real quick. Check it out. Okay, look at that, dude. It is cooking with gas. Johnny, tell him how he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, I was so bummed today because I was flying when he posted he just crushed yesterday on what was it, QQQ, I think, and I missed it.
Howie's just fired, dude. And you guys should check it out. We just had Jamie Jossa from Hate Breed on. But I wanted to tell you about my dates because I got some important dates and I have a big announcement. Kansas City next weekend, the 28th through the 30th. Chicago, Illinois, September 12th and 13th. Ventura, California, the 24th. October 10th. In Tulsa, October 11th in Oklahoma. And then October 17th through the 19th, I am headlining the Fat Man at the Comedy Mothership. And then on the 20th, I'm doing Kill Tony. And then the big announcement is, here we go. The big announcement is, let me tell you.
The big announcement
is Friday, November 21st. Tinfoil Hat will be at the Virgin Hotel in Las Vegas. Their nice showroom. We're doing a big show there. And if you're a Raiders fan, if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, we're going to the game that Sunday at Gillette Stadium. So if you're a fan of either of them, you love football, you want to join us there, I'm going to see if I can contact them about getting a big group of tickets and see if we can all get together. But yeah, so
funny.
What?
Eddie's. I just imagining him as a football fan. I never would have guessed that he's such a big football fan.
Dude, he wants to do a football podcast with me.
It's crazy.
We should do that. Anyways, so yeah, that's the story, and so that's not up yet. But November 21st, if you want to come to Vegas, you want to spend some time, 3-day weekend with us. Show Friday night, Saturday night. We're all gonna have fun. They're having the big race there, Formula One. And then Sunday night, we are going to be at the Raiders versus Browns game. Come and join us. And then just real quick, Chaos Twins is coming. The second issue is being colored right now. Grab that and just go up one more thing because I think there's 2 new T-shirts up there. Go down to Tinfoil Hat T-shirts. I think there's 2 more T-shirts. Click it to win. Oh, no, not the fucks up. Oh, dude, he put them up. But the Wood Army is up. And then PsyOps Take No Days Off is supposed to be up as well. PsyOps Take No Days Off. And then, I don't know, there's another one that hasn't been put up. But
that's a really good shirt.
That's a great shirt. Yeah, it's a great shirt.
A Wood Army. Join us. I also have Modern Day Prophets, my picture drawn with me with peanut butter hair. That's coming out.
Yeah, I want. You keep talking about that one.
I'll tell them to drop that, dude. Can we get it out? And yeah, that's about it. And then again, I want you guys to check out Chemical Free Body. Check that out. I gotta get the new ones up. I gotta get the honey up, and I gotta get the Shazette.
That honey is good, Sheila G.
No,
that honey
great.
is good.
Yes,
bro. That honey is nice.
But check out Chemical Free Body. I take their parasite thing to get rid of parasites. I take their supplements every day. Okay, and then we really want you to check out our good friends at Harley Ray. We're big fans of them. Their whole family. They're wonderful people. And crystals, candles, sage, whatever you need, all there. Beautiful website. So check it out. Anything else, guys?
Hit that like button. And everyone's been asking me for this NPC hat, and it's at fullytoxic.com. So go get one now.
Go get one, dude. And what, Johnny, anything from you?
Yeah. You can come find me on Twitter at Johnny Woodard. We're going to do a new live Broken Sim, hopefully before the end of the week.
We love your feedback. It's called Broken Sim. We love your feedback.
We love your feedback.
Yeah.
So comment. We read all 5-star reviews on Apple, iTunes.
But if it's mean, we're going to read it very poorly.
Yeah. Well, if it's mean, if you're trying to get in there and say, we reserve the right not to read it. Obviously, it's not a guarantee.
Yeah, we're not going to if you say something stupid.
Yeah.
Besides that, back to the show. Love the show. I would love to do nothing but those kind of shows. I think those shows are great. You know, I know some people don't like necessarily the religious episodes, but I think these are important episodes because it kind of lets you know what we're up against.
I agree. I saw that we were talking.
Imagine being just imagine being in this time and not thinking there's a spiritual warfare going on and trying to explain it through atheism or just like, dude, that's stupid. You're just falling for their psyops. I'm like, all this shit's been around longer than the Abrahamic religions. What are you talking about? Yeah. What are you talking about?
Completely agree.
It's just crazy to me, dude.
What was I gonna? Oh yeah. So we've been talking too about biblical angels and like how they might have looked. And apparently I saw someone make a convincing argument that thing with all the eyes on it, that crazy looking thing you see passed around, is just like one type of angel. And there's like others that did look like people, that could.
But they didn't have dongs, according to you, right? Like,
well, that's what I've always heard, that they weren't sexed. Yeah. But
they were all like
I guess when
dolls.
they could take human form, maybe? I don't know.
And then they just get a fat root.
That's what I was thinking. How big is it?
Yeah, you'd be like, I'm an angel. Give me 3 more inches.
Bro, you're not designing your own video game character and not putting a
you're right.
meat hammer on it. It's like, you're doing it. 100%.
All right, guys, enjoy the highlights.
Here's a clip from the latest Broken Sim. I respect Sam's take on live and let live and often agree. However, he has the disclaimer, as long as you don't hurt kids. Doesn't Scientology hurt kids? That's a fair point.
What?
He's saying your take on religion is live and let live. But unless your caveat is always unless they hurt kids. And he's saying Scientology does hurt kids. So
I agree, Johnny.
So you can't be live and let live with.
Well, how much smack do I have to talk? I talked some smack on that guy.
Yeah, I mean, we did. I mean, he just wasn't in. You can't make somebody have a conversation.
Which makes me think they probably watch his content.
I'm under the impression that they watch everything. Yeah,
I agree.
Schizophren.
Oh, I like what he did there.
Sam at Bro Grove, you told me that you loved me. Did you mean it? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love me? Good question.
Dude, I'm going to say 10. Like full gay, full 617.
Is he back
out? I'm 617 for schizophren.
That's funny. What
he wants to know 1 through 10? How about 617? That's how much.
Oh, that's a lot of numbers. That's a couple of things I just wanted to get out because they're going to be
real quick. Has she been let back in, and has he been playing?
Yeah, he's off timeout, but I haven't seen him making any comments.
Oh, he got butt hurt. How come he can't take a joke, but our good friend Mark can take a joke about all the fans he's banging?
I heard, now this is a rumor, completely alleged, but I heard that Mark keeps like a little black book of fans. Anybody?
Yeah. And what weird stuff they're into, and what they smell like.
Exactly.
That's what I heard.
I heard that. Yeah, he keeps like notes on smell, obviously.
On smell. Oh God, that's so disrespectful.
Who doesn't do that? And then he goes down. He kind of ranks them. He's always ranking the power rankings.
Oh yeah, dude, power rankings. No one's got above an 8 for Mark though. That's the weird part.
Yeah, well, it's because Mark, his most important category is height, and he just can't find anybody.
Johnny, I get this a lot. Is Mark? Yes. Mark is
probably our handler.
Yeah.
It makes sense now.
Yeah.
Who would be a better handler than the booker? He's like, oh, I'm not booking that guy. Sorry, I forgot or whatever, And maybe it's just somebody that.
Johnny, I just got a text from Mark. He says, "I'm proud."
Oh, proud.
Yeah, he said he's proud.
Oh, do we do racial pride? Is that a thing?
I mean, dude, it's a little weird. I hope it gets okay when we have these people talk about Zionism. I hope Mark's okay with it.
Mark the Zionist. Well, we know how he ranks the women now. His second category is based on their status.
Yes, 100%, Johnny. Good part. Good
I heard
point.
he keeps a black book for the ladies and a white book for the boys. He's got a list of both.
Johnny, that's gone too far. Okay, now you're putting out gossip.
Oh, of course. As I said, all alleged. It's all rumors. Probably not even true. But I heard that.
So I'm getting some inside scoop right now from some people.
Love
JD is dropping some truth hammers about Mark. Mark left Low Value Mail to produce Kurt's new podcast, which is really good. Y'all got Kurped. Man.
What is low value mail? What is low value mail? What does Mark have to do with it?
That's just cold-blooded, dude.
What does Mark have to do with that?
Mark is, I don't know if you know this, but if you have a conspiracy podcast, Mark has to book it. It's union rules.
Wait, well, what is that? I've never heard of that.
Low Value Mail is a podcast by what is his name, dude? He's so funny. The guy out in New York.
On the effing and the jeffing, bro.
Mark, what is the name of the guy that runs Low Value Mail? He's so funny.
And
Mark,
he left that podcast to go somewhere else?
Left that podcast to go to a bigger podcast.
What's the bigger podcast?
Kurt Metzger's podcast.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. Danny Polishchuk, and he is obviously that's why Mark worked with him. Danny Polishchuk. He's so funny, dude. He's one of the best sketch guys in the world.
You think that's a conflict of interest, him booking Metzger's podcast? And
I'm sure it is, but he doesn't care.
I know. Are we going to stop getting is he going to give them the best guests first?
Well, he books the guests on his podcast first. Oh, here's Mark. Mark wants to.
Mark, what if? Okay, so what if?
Oh my God, you guys are slandering me.
Okay, Mark, you're on air.
How did Johnny find my black book? He's not in Europe. He's probably snooping around my.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought maybe Johnny didn't go to Europe and he just went to Connecticut, tried some pizza, and looked for your black book of slander.
Yeah, he's given all my details.
Easy.
How am I supposed to hook up with more Nephilim bitches if you?
No cursing. No cursing. We're live.
Hey, Mark, why do you book guests on your show before our show?
Okay, first of all, I'm working public relations for Tinfoil Hat, so I gotta sweeten the deal. I gotta.
So the way you sell coming on my show is that they get on your show too? Is that how you sell it? Hey, listen.
No.
Listen, I know doing Sam's show isn't enough, but I'm willing to go over the top with my podcast too.
That's for the people that I connect with that I'd like to speak to myself. That's all. And sometimes the timing works out to where it's before they get on.
That's nice and convenient for you. So give us the pecking order of how you book a cop. It goes. My family thinks I'm crazy. You've got Curped, and then tinfoil. Is that how it goes?
No. It goes Tinfoil Hat.
Okay.
The pyramid, and then below that is Kurt, and then below that is my own.
By the way, we're pro Kurt Metzger on here, and we have no problems with him. But Mark knew there was a rule about not booking people on his show first, and he violates it constantly.
Oh my God! I don't violate it constantly. Do you even listen to my show? How would you know?
I don't listen to anyone's show. I don't even listen to my show.
Yeah, so when you said that to me, I said, "Oh, it's free game."
Then. No, because the guests go, yeah. So I just did Mark's show the other day.
Yes.
Because they're snitches. They don't know how to.
But that's not the point, Mark. The point is that you were given a rule.
Oh,
Mark, you just got called a 617 by Doug Wilson. Oh my God. We all love Kurt. This is not an anti-Kurt rant. This is none of my employees respect me because I'm nice. And when I start dropping hammers, okay, hammers, I'm the nicest employer of all time.
I have great respect for you, Sam. I don't know what you're talking about.
I love working for you.
Okay, Mark, do you have any some people are really hurt in the comment section, Mark. Do you have anything to say to those people that are really hurt right now?
My heart goes out to them. I truly love them all, and I hope they know that Tinfoil Hat is always first in my heart and my mind. And when I wake up in the morning, I think, how am I going to make Sam Tripoli's day better?
If you'd like to hear the rest of this episode, subscribe to Broken Simulation in your podcasting app or check us out at youtube.com/Sam Tripoli.
Welcome back to #1 podcast in the world. We took a week off, but we're coming at you guys heavy. We go over the Roblox, Chris Hansen situation. I give you guys some insider scoop on Sam Tripoli, the Joe Rogan episode. And for some reason, Donald Trump wants to act like he cares about weed and thinking about legalizing it. Also, I do a little recap about Splash House Weekend 1 and how crazy of an event that was. And don't forget, like always, I got my #1 producer / graphic designer, Chili Millie. That like button and subscribe. And before we get into the episode, this hat right here that everybody's been asking me for is finally at fullytoxic.com. It says NPC. Don't be a non-playable character. I'm not gonna edit it out. I'm leaving it in. Go buy this hat right now. Go to fullytoxic.com and let's get into it, baby. Let's go. Roblox is suing some kid. Yeah, and then I know you play Roblox because of your knees. So I was sitting there and I'm like, how is Roblox? So I watched there's these. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody here knows these predator catchers or whatever. These vigilantes. Hunters, yeah. Yeah, these vigilantes on YouTube that just literally they'll start, and it's a crew, it's a team. It's not one dude. They have girls, they have decoys and shit, and they'll sit there and talk to these Johns for a month, 2 months, and they have these catalogs, and they end up meeting with these weirdos in like McDonald's, and they're like, well, why did you? Yeah, those videos, yeah. Yeah, no, and I look. I'm never defending them, but they're always catching autistic guys. They're always catching guys that live in their mom's house.
Foreigners or like mentally.
They're never catching like the elite. That's another thing is when they catch those pedos or whatever, they never catch like people actually doing like.
They're probably smarter at it.
Yeah, obviously they are. They're not this. But this makes you feel.
Two stories. Yeah. So we want to do the Roblox one first that are like related to this because I'm like, wait, before we get.
Oh, well, I don't know.
No, you're good. I'm just saying because even like the Israeli guy.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so they can get like high ones, but the Roblox one is crazy on its own.
Yeah. So I mean, explain to me because I was kind of.
I think this one explains it. I'll just play this and then.
Yeah, because it was this kid that got caught. He was using Roblox as his source of.
Roblox is officially being sued by the U.S. government over child safety failures, and this might be the beginning of its biggest downfall yet. You see, Roblox has been under fire for years because predators keep slipping past its moderation and contacting kids on the platform. Instead of fixing that, they banned the YouTubers who actually tried exposing those predators, like Schlep. That's why the U.S. Attorney General stepped in, accusing Roblox of ignoring serious safety issues and putting profit above children's protection. Chris Hansen, the guy behind Dateline NBC series To Catch a Predator, has joined the chaos. He's now launching a full investigation into the amount of grooming happening inside Roblox. And it's not just the US. Indonesia has banned Roblox completely over the same child safety concerns. Share this video more to spread justice for Schlep and child protection north. Roblox is officially.
Oh, is that why? That's probably why. My bad. Why he's why they're suing that Schlep guy? Because he probably. I mean, can you imagine it being banned in America?
Yeah, because he got banned. Yeah, he got banned in Indonesia.
I didn't know they banned it.
All right, Chili, you played Roblox.
I play Roblox with my niece.
Yeah. Chili's I don't just play Roblox for fun.
It does feel awkward playing it because you can also play it on your Oculus. And I went on there just to see, and I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to like check it out. And it's weird. It is weird. I don't.
Is it fun? Like as an adult, like I mean, like you just said, I play it with my niece. As an adult, can you find it fun? Like if you like, I've never touched it at all. I do like video games. I would say in a weird kind of way, for maybe an hour. Do you think I could get entertained at all? Do you see why adults are there? Or are they really just being creepies?
No. You can get lost in there. Because when
you can have fun. That's what I'm saying. You can. There is. You would say there's some adults that really enjoy the aspect of Minecraft.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like there's cool worlds in there and everything. Okay. Like you can get addicted and it kills time.
It's fun. Okay, so you're saying there is some fun to it. Not everybody's just a creep.
You can also like turn like my sister. So my niece plays and. My sister put all the locks on there, and my niece can't add anybody. Like, she adds her little friends, and then you can turn off the messaging.
Boy, Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Tinfoil hack.